Good evening. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Chamber of Commerce meet and greet. And these are all of our candidates. Our committee is Jared Arnold, Barry Thomason, who's also our MC. I'd like to start by having Dorothy, could you come up here for a second, please? She can tell us a little bit about what it's like to be mayor. You only have 2 minutes. You don't want 2 minutes? Oh, well, you're not really here to talk about that. We'd like to congratulate for being the 2020 Honored Citizen. Dorothy's been an awesome mayor, and she's been very, very strong in our chamber, and we really appreciate it, everything that she does. Congratulations.
Wow. I'm rarely without words, and all I can say is thank you. It has been an extreme honor for me to be your mayor for the last 7.5 years. And if I felt like I was mentally and physically able, I probably would keep going, but I don't think I can give you the level of service that I have given you for another 4 years. So thank you so much.
We would like to welcome everyone out tonight, and we are going to listen to each of the candidates. All of the candidates will be answering the same 3 questions tonight, and you'll each be given 5 minutes, and Jared has a sign that he will hold up when you have 1 minute left. So when he shows you that sign, please be respectful of that, and then especially when you see the time's up sign. You're done. And we will go in this order. We will have the commissioners first, and then the candidates for mayor, and then Council 1, and we'll go all through the council, and then the school district. So that is how we'll go tonight. The questions that the candidates will be answering will be this: why are you the best candidate for the position? And then, what do you like best about Chewelah, and what would you change? So we are going to, the order that we're going to go in tonight is the order that the candidates will be on the ballot. So they were chosen by lots to put on the ballot, so we've just gone off of that order. So the first person speaking tonight will be Mark Burrows.
Thank you, Barry. Why am I the best candidate for this position? Well, let me tell you, for the last 8 months or so, I've been working full-time as your county commissioner for District 2. At the end of this year, I will have over 1 year of experience as a county commissioner. You might recall that last October, I was selected by the Stevens County Republican Central Committee to be the #1 choice for this position. And later I was lawfully appointed to be commissioner for District 2. In my heart, everyone, I'm a public servant. I'm fully dedicated to serving you, and I believe it's what God designed me to do. I've demonstrated a high level of dedication to service, not only in my years in the United States Air Force, but also during my nearly 30 years as a police officer for the city of Chewelah. I've lived alongside of you, and I've done my job with a spirit of service. During my police career, I've literally helped thousands and thousands of people through many different types of situations, And I feel that this experience alone helps me to understand the things that are important to you as citizens. I also must tell you that I am a Republican, but I really don't care what political party you belong to. My intention is to treat you with equal importance, to listen to your concerns, and to do the things that are right for Stevens County. Also, much of the training that I received as a police chief in the city of Chewelah crosses over perfectly into my position as county commissioner. And I'll continue to humbly serve you as commissioner and responsibly manage the resources of Stevens County. I'm not doing this job out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, and I consider the needs of the citizens of Stevens County more important than my own. These are just some of the reasons why I think I'm the best candidate for county commissioner for District 2. What's going well and what do I like about Stevens County? I think right now the Stevens County budget is pretty solid. We're operating in the black, partially due to real solid sales tax revenues, and people are able to pay their property taxes on time. And I think internally Stevens County is changing for the better. We're doing our best to pay employees competitive wages and to improve the workplaces to retain good employees. And I think employees from the courthouse to the guys and gals running equipment out on the road will tell you that they notice what we're doing. I think they would also tell you that the communication in the with the commissioner's office is better than it's ever been. Also, I think the sheriff's office is doing a great job. They're helping all the communities in the county, including Kettle Falls and Chewelah. And I think that it's important to know that public safety is a really important part of economic development, because safe communities experience healthy growth. And the population of Stevens County is growing, and we must plan for this growth. I think also that it's really important for towns like Chewelah to elect a mayor that has a really strong management history and has a passion for preserving the character of this community as this growth occurs. If there are things that I would like to change, one thing that I would like to do is I think we're long overdue for a new jail. Every single day of the week, state troopers and deputies and officers are contacting people who need to go to jail, but they just simply can't because the jail is always full. These criminals are just released back into your community to steal from you or your neighbor, or worse. Really, we needed a jail 20 or 30 years ago, and it's just simply time that we do this thing. As the county grows, I'd like to see more roads improved, as we can afford to do that, especially in densely populated areas. I know this is expensive, but there are different ways to pay for that. To include junior taxing districts, where people in local communities can kind of pony up the money and pay for that over time. I am and I will continue also to support the expansion of broadband in Stevens County. I know that that's really important for people, and it will also help draw businesses into our community. And I would also like to know what you want improved or changed, because after all, you are our customers, and we want to provide services that will either meet or exceed your expectations. Thank you.
All right, next up is Jeff Pitts.
Good evening. My name is Jeff Pitts, and I'm running for the position of Stevens County Commissioner, District 2. I would like to thank the Chewelah Independent, the Chewelah Chamber, and all of you for coming out tonight, especially in this heat. It shows how much you care and how important listening to different candidates are. And I think that's great to see all of you here. I would like to take the next 5 minutes to tell you a little bit about myself and the reasons that I'm running for County Commissioner. I hope you take a moment to read the handouts that I have if you haven't got one. My wife and I can make sure you get one before you leave here tonight. They're in the back on a table. It tells a little bit more in depth about me and who I am and why I'm running. Running for public office is something most folks choose not to do. I mean, why would you run for public office? You put yourself out there for the world to see. You put yourself and your family out there for the world to either criticize or support. But for myself, entering the political arena is something of a labor of love. At 53 years old and a lifelong resident of Stevens County, I've spent the past few decades helping to make our area a better place to live, work, and raise your families. June 30th marked 30 years for myself working for a company called Arden Tree Farms, currently as general manager. Arden is one of the largest family-owned tree farms in the Pacific Northwest, with over 30,000 acres of ownership, most of which lies in Stevens County. I've had the blessing and the privilege to meet people from all walks of life. Some that are neighbors to the different tree farm properties, some who like to use the property to recreate on and use with their families. As with many business and government relationships that go along with running a business of this size, keeping it not only afloat, but a successful and thriving business and an important piece to the puzzle of our county. Long-lasting relationships, 30 years of listening to why people live here and learning why they are here and what they want to see in their local government has given me the insight and the ability to be a voice for all of Stevens County, its residents and businesses. My life's been filled with public service, most of it from the private side of things. Other than serving a term on the Colville City Council back in the 90s, my service to our area comes from the yearning to wanting to help people, wanting to give back to an area that has given myself and my family so much. I bring to you a well-balanced understanding of our county, our residents, and our businesses, and for many, just the simple reason of why we all live here. Living in Stevens County for many of us is not only a choice, but it's a lifestyle that only those that live here can fully understand. Where else can you travel 60 minutes, regardless of where you live in this county, and have the options that we do at our fingertips, whether it's a lake, a river, a mountain range, or downtown to go shopping, it's all here. We have a county that has a tremendous amount of natural resources, and we have a county that economically depends largely upon those natural resources for its economic growth. And that is what we want. We want those things that I just mentioned kept at our fingertips. We want to keep those things here. But to do that, you have to be willing to change and adapt to change and make change work in your favor. Change is going to happen whether you like it or not. And I'm of the opinion that working together we can make change be beneficial for the county and for all of us working and living here. To do that, you cannot have an agenda. You must be willing to work, listen, and partner with other people, other agencies, and other county interests, including businesses, to be able to accomplish anything. Our county is blessed with its many departments of hardworking employees and department heads, whether or not those department heads are appointed or elected. Just like any employee, we would prefer to have a good working relationship with our boss, department head, leadership, or what have you. I am of the opinion, based on many discussions within our county departments, that this is something that could use some improvement. I believe that a department head should be able to run his or her department without unnecessary interference of the county commissioners. Micromanagement from county commissioners, whether it's in Stevens County or any other county in our state, is not good for that county whatsoever. If a department head or an employee is not satisfying the requirements put forth in a contract or personnel policy, then it may be up to the commissioners to help get that department headed down the right track. In summary, I feel that decades of my involvement, my decades of running a successful business, and my wish to make our county one we can all be proud of, for now and for generations to come, makes me the best choice of county commissioner. One thing that you can take to the bank is this: I am the same person right now as I will be as your county commissioner. I will not evolve into somebody else. I will not transform into another train of thought. I will be the same person who is here to represent you, our county, and our lifestyle we all have come to love so much. Thank you for your time.
Okay. Okay, and one thing I had failed to mention earlier, if any of the candidates mention someone by name, then that person gets a chance to rebut. So in addition to the 5 minutes that you're speaking, if you specifically say something about your opponent, then they can rebut it. So just making that clear. All right, so now we're going to move on to the candidates for mayor. And our first candidate we'll hear from is Ashley Ludwig.
Hello and welcome. I once heard that a city is only as great of the quality of life of those who reside in it. As a longtime resident of Chewelah, I decided to run for mayor because I care about the quality of life of all of our citizens, young, old, and everything in between. I want to continue to be involved in our city government because I have a deep appreciation for our town and want what is best for our citizens. Knowing how I felt about Chewelah and realizing that we need strength and economy to thrive, I made my campaign focus supporting the needs of the community while sustaining growth. There are needs that are not only that Chewelah requires to thrive, but also the needs that citizens feel that they need to be heard. This is the definition of supporting the needs aspect of my campaign. I want to not only hear, but I want to put those items into completion. I have the skilled ability to listen to, understand, interpret, strategize, implement, and complete those needs into fruition. When dealing with various needs, my experience and knowledge can bring those items to the right parties for all of us to work together to find the best solutions for Chewelah. Through my time on City Council and previous roles in the community, I've had the experience of working with many city departments to get tasks accomplished. I have worked on a number of projects that took cooperation from multiple departments to successfully complete. I am well versed in how our city government works and all the different pieces that need to come together to run the internal structure of our city. I am very involved in small business support and am always looking for ways to expand our economy. I plan to use my years of education, my experience with finance and accounting, and my extensive business acumen to support the positional requirements and to use our resources and funds to identify what Chewelah needs most. In addition to serving on our local school board, city council, charity organizations, committees, and local nonprofits, I also created sports programs for our children in the community. I used the collaboration of my resources and those that cared about our community as much as I did to build 2 programs up from the ground and offered them for free to those that wanted to participate. I feel this is a good example to illustrate how passionate I am about our children and how I can bring together large groups for a common goal to get big tasks accomplished. Lastly, I have years of experience outside of working with the city leading teams and bringing individuals and large groups together to collaborate on finding solutions and implementing actions. Being in Chewelah for over 27 years, I've built a multitude of relationships with local business owners, educators, organizational leaders, families, individuals, and industry professionals. This network I have built is going to be imperative in bringing those prospective parties together to complete the common goals we would like to see moving forward. What do I think is going well and what would I change? Being a longtime resident since I was 5 has brought a sense of pride and appreciation to each of the individuals that make up our town. Through my continued involvement in the community and the various roles I have played a part of, I think the aspect that appeals to me most is the people that we have that are so passionate and those that give their time and energy to continue to make this town something that we are proud of. I have seen firsthand and witnessed the powerful effect of when those type of individuals work together and the astounding results of what can get accomplished. This is what I would capitalize on if chosen for mayor. I want to bring all these parties together to collaborate and find solutions and put plans into action. A few other items to note are the progress that has been made in Chewelah becoming the creative district, the establishment of the Chewelah Valley Land Trust, the development of our airport, PACA, and all the other recreational items that we offer to visitors and citizens. In addition, I want to mention our local churches, various community charity groups, and our local businesses that give nonstop to our community. We offer activities that appeal to all age demographics and events that individuals and families can enjoy. Through the involvement of all these local organizations, businesses, charity groups, and churches, we are able to constantly adapt, evolve, and continue to thrive. I'm very proud to call Chewelah home and grateful of a community that I feel safe to raise my 2 children in. What I would change is an easy answer for me. Change is not a word that comes to mind when I think of what our community needs. Instead, I think of stressing focus on items that could use more attention. Some examples of those items are the adaptation to the demand of those wanting to call Chewelah home, by providing more housing and encouraging business growth for more jobs, and then simplifying the process for those that want to build here. These are the focus areas of my sustaining growth aspect of my campaign. We need to capitalize on those that are just as passionate as I am about Chewelah, and we need to work together to see these tasks come into plan. By incorporating and addressing those items, we can continue to adapt and improve the quality of life for those that reside here. I'm running for mayor because I want the ability to give back to the community that has given me so much and to my family. Dedicating the countless hours, making tough decisions, and trying to improve a multitude of things is a small price I am willing to pay when you consider the gravity of the effect that it will have in Chewelah's continued success. If I am chosen to represent Chewelah, I will consider it an honor and will be relentless in accomplishing the tasks that will need to be accomplished. Thank you for your time, and I want to wish my constituents the very best in their journey for mayor.
All right, the next candidate for mayor is Greg McCunn.
Thank you. Embracing the challenge of some of you getting to know me in 5 minutes, but I want to encourage that while this format is instructive and informative at a high level, we've been making ourselves available every Tuesday night in front of Mountain Market from 6 to 7, because truly, to make the important decision of our next mayor takes more than 5 minutes. But I'd like to spend this 5 minutes, one, helping you understand my level of commitment, two, understanding my experience and what makes me a qualified candidate for mayor, and three, the excitement I have for our future based on what's going on. And last, I'll address change. Obviously, the mayoral race is very important for any city. It's particularly important when it's our city. And I can tell you that after these 6 weeks and over 50 meetings with individuals and groups, I can tell you that your vote for mayor is critical. I think of things in terms of a current state and a future state, kind of where we are versus where we want to be. And we're a community that's kind of mixed on that. We feel growth coming, we want growth, but at the same time we look at growth and what it's done to other small towns, and that scares us, and I can appreciate that. A mayor can cultivate relationships, a mayor can shepherd prosperity, a mayor can steward resources, a mayor can organize and support leaders and hold city leaders accountable. A mayor can have a profound influence. A mayor, however, does not create the future, a community does. The platform that I've been running on is one of community, cultivation, and championship. We have a wonderful community, and in that we have kind of sub-communities that are driving great work through community leadership, and I'm going to list those in just a little bit because it's time to get excited about it. As mayor, I believe that we can come together as a single community, kind of at that higher aspirational level, that all of us working together can support and help shape our future collectively. Cultivation is really about working with what we have. I don't think we need really a whole lot more. When I go through what I'm excited about, I think you might agree, we've got a lot of great stuff going on. But once we cultivate those things and they come to fruition and we start to all enjoy the effect of those, we're in a unique position to championship. Because one of the things we do need is jobs in our community, and we need families who are attracted to our community as a result of those jobs, while those jobs also support existing community members. Dorothy, thank you. The shoes to be filled are immense, and the foundation you have laid will, for whomever is mayor, pay forward in a lot of credit that that person will receive based on the work you did, so thank you for that. What am I excited about? What's going well in Chewelah? This is going to be rapid fire, gang, because there's no way you can hit it all in 5 minutes, and if I miss something, please forgive me. We now have a 20-year comprehensive plan. If you haven't taken a look at it, it's a roadmap to our future, done by community members and teams of individuals along with experts to help us make good decisions of what our future looks like. That enables grants, that enables planning. It's the infrastructure of what our future can look like, and it's well done. I've been through the Public Works Department. Everywhere I go, I meet strong leaders and strong teams. And when I talk to strong leaders and strong teams, they tell me what they're getting done, what their challenges are, and things like this. How I'm campaigning is how I would operate as mayor. I have 26 years of leadership experience, and the way that you work with leaders in a leadership position is you listen well and you seek compromise and you look for creative solutions to the things that challenge them or stand in the way of the things that we all want to get done. We have a new police chief, and I know that he is passionate for his job, this town, and our youth, and has some very unique ideas how to support them. We have a very lean and mean volunteer fire department, which is operating very efficiently. Our schools have a new superintendent. We have CarPay, Valley Land Trust, downtown housing area. All of these things you can find on the city website. The challenge is most of us are unaware of them. And when we're unaware of the good, hard work being done, we're left to guess, to speculate, and we're not really talking about all the good things that are happening. So I would tell you that as leader, one of the major things I would propose is a forum of leaders, not a mayor's forum or anything, but a forum of leaders so that we can start to share what we're working on, what our pinch points are, and how we can capitalize on the skill sets that are in this room and in our community to get the good things done that are already well underway. Most of my list has happened in the last 4 years. It's incredible. We are standing at a critical threshold, and I think if we seize that right opportunity, we will be very pleased with the future we have shaped. In terms of change, I think we need to change two things. I think we need to have more robust communication both ways. From City Hall, from the different working groups, and from you as citizens. Communication is a two-way street, and we can fix that. The last part would be, I think we need to enable our officers to enforce our codes, and there's some changes that we would need to make to enable that. That will help shape our future together. So I thank you for this time, and I thank you for your support as future mayor of Chihuahua. Thank you.
All right, the next candidate for mayor is Frank Lewis.
Why are you best mayor candidate for the position? Because I have two main talents that are mandatory.
Can you hear me?
I'm the best candidate because I have two main talents. The gift of servanthood and the gift of administration. What do you think is going well for our city of Chihuahua? Its location is a big plus. Great potential for growth.
Now,
What I would like to see changed after speaking with many people living in the city of Chihuahua, I'd like to briefly share some of the comments. If I'm elected mayor, their concerns become my concerns. Drinking water is number one on the list. We all would like to see clear water coming out of our faucets, not brown water, but clear all the time, period. I have a sample back there on my table of what I took 19 days ago. Sewer rates. I would look into the unfairness of the sewer rates. A single person pays $73.60 a month. The same rate applies to a household of 6 to 8 people. This cost weighs heavy on our seniors that have fixed monthly incomes. Asphalt, road repair, potholes. East and west side of Chihuahua, we would like to see asphalt installed evenly without lumps and bumps. In most cases, it would have been better if we had done no paving at all. We'd have had quite a bit of money saved. Road repairs should be similar to the road repairs you see as you travel up to the golf course on Sand Canyon Road. Lifted curbs and sidewalks. ADA standards, that's Americans with Disability Acts, requirements are not being met on many of our curbs and sidewalks in this city. Snow plowing, many comment on this one. We would like to see snow plow workers properly trained on where to move and leave snow. Many seniors are concerned about snow lift 2 feet high or greater being left in their driveways. And they're just too old to move it out to even go to the market. So we need to think on these issues. City beautification. Trees that provide shade for the city is a great upgrade for this city. New concrete curbs and sidewalks were placed on Stevens Street. That is very nice. But maple trees were planted, and the roots of this type of tree will lift the new curbs and new sidewalks. Trees need to be selected that will not cause this kind of damage. Downtown parking. The diagonal parking downtown is unsafe and needs to be reworked for safety. There is another solution though. And on a positive note, I've already reached out to one developer. If he comes to help, great. If not, another one can be sought after. The downtown area can be used for more food establishments, but there's not enough parking. So the parking issues really need to be solved in our downtown area. Auctions, the city auctions. Some have expressed that when the city auctions off their vehicles, the process is not done fairly and not above reproach. It is said that the city workers are notified of the vehicle's availability without all taxpayer citizens being notified. Shouldn't every taxpayer living in the city of Chewelah have equal opportunity to be involved in this auction? The auction should be held at the city park in Chewelah. The auction would also need to meet state requirements. There are other issues, but I end by saying we all need to get back into helping our community. Thank you.
All right. The next mayoral candidate is Lonnie Hoxie.
Hello, good evening, and thank you for allowing me to be here tonight. It's an honor. Like I said, my name... Can you hear me? Okay, all right, I'm sorry. I'm a fifth-generation family member in Stevens County. I was born in Colville. I graduated from high school in Jenkins High School in 1978. I made a commitment to our community, and I came back in 1989 as a school teacher. I've only had one job in my life, and that's public school education. I've done that for the past 37 school years. 32 of them have been in Chewelah, 3 were in Republic. I'm committed, I'm dedicated, I'm a hard worker, and most of all, I listen. I listen to my students, I listen to my administrators, and I will listen to you. I care about this town, I love this town, and for so long I wanted to give back to it, and now, you know, when Dorothy decided to retire, I said, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm kind of a squirrel, but I listen, I care, I'm committed, and I will get the job done for you. I will work hard with the city council, I'll work hard with the chamber, I'll work hard with all the community leaders. The decisions we make will make Chewelah a better place, and I'm happy for that, and I'm looking forward to it. I've seen Chewelah struggle, I've seen Chewelah thrive, and Chewelah is stepping up now, and we're doing many things. It's so nice to walk down the streets of Chewelah and see the dance studios, the murals painted, PACA Center. It's absolutely outstanding, and this is just people volunteering, working hard, dedicated, and committed to the development of our town. I have to be a part of it. And even if I'm not elected the mayor, I will continue to love this community and work hard with the people and make it happen. The good things about Chewelah, like I said, the arts, but basically it's the people. We're strong. Things fail, we step up. We do things, we make new businesses, we make new jobs. It may not be a strong tax base for our economy, but we survive. And it's a beautiful community, and I'm just so proud to be a part of it. We have, it's a great place to retire. We have a wonderful hospital. We have wonderful doctors, healthcare providers. This is a great place to be. a great place to retire. Most of all, what I like about it is Chewella's an outdoor paradise. God gave us Colville National Forest, and people all over hike in it, they fish in it, they camp in it. It's just there. We have we have elk population coming back. We have turkeys everywhere. It's what we do in Stevens County. And again, I'm an honor to be a part of that. And you know, not only that, we can go skiing at 49. We can go golfing at 27-hole golf course. We have a super airport up there that just continues to grow. On Fridays, we have a farmer's market. I get on my bike and ride around that. It's neat. It's people coming into town. It's just, you know, what we need. We have an absolutely wonderful casino. People take advantage of it. They come into Chewelah. They buy their lunch. It's what it is. And as I ride my bike around town, I'm also honored and proud of the people that protect our community. We have an excellent police department. We have city workers who work hard just over there in the park. They put a new tree up. It's absolutely beautiful. Why? Because we're hardworking, committed, and dedicated people. And I want to be one of them. And I want to be there with you guys. So, as I look at managing Chewelah and a 20-year growth plan, it's you. If I'm the mayor, I'm coming to you. My door is going to be open. You're going to come into my office and you're going to make it happen with me. And again, I'm going to work with the city council, and we'll see how it goes. We knew, you know, if I could change things, we'd have perfect water. We'd have no water leaks. We'd have paved streets. We'd have no traffic on 395. I can't even get across it sometimes. God, I hate that. But we're growing. We have to step up and face that. Like we'd have a community celebration every year. We'd have no homeless people in the park or on the Chewelah Creek. We'd have relief from this heat. We may have something to cool off, other than the city park with that, what has a beautiful Chewelah Creek. People, consider voting for me. I love this place, I love you, and I would be dedicated and committed to you. Thank you very much.
All right. The last candidate for mayor is Ron McQuaid.
It's been a while. 20 years ago, I ran for mayor for the benefit of my family and the youth of Chewelah. I didn't take into consideration, which I should have, is the churches, the businesses, and the whole community. We're not just a city, we are a community. Yes, only the citizens in Chewelah can vote, but people that live out in Sand Canyon, people that live in Blue Creek, people that live different spots around the area. Take a 15-mile radius. Everything we do in this city affects every single one of you. I encourage you to listen to these candidates. They all seem to be excellent. We're 5 people that want to serve you. I had the opportunity and the pleasure of doing it 20 years ago. In 1997, I ran for office. 1998 to 2002, I was the mayor. Was I perfect? No. Was there room for growth? Yes. When I came into office, like I said, I'd been to 2 council meetings ever in my entire life. I had no idea what a mayor did. And then guess what? I got elected and I'm going, whoa, this is not happening. I had people from every corner coming after me and saying, hey, do this, do that, do this. And I really had to take time to understand our community. I've lived here for approximately 30 plus years. We've raised our kids here. We're starting our grandkids here. I'm retired. I don't have to look around for a job that's going to pay good. But what I do have to do is work on the community so we can get jobs here that will support everyone. You know, we had some real faithful businesses that were able to get through this politically correct word, COVID, which coronavirus was another term. We had our businesses, so some of these locals that actually were able to carry through. Strong will. I just like another shot, knowing what I know now. 20 years later, not much has changed except my bald head and maybe a little bit bigger stomach. But guess what? My drive is the same today as it was then. I want stuff for our employers, I want stuff for our kids, and our church districts. And I think those are all key in deciding on what goes on in our community. It's missing. We've had great leaders. One mayor just finished a good term in office. She was excellent. Actually, when I first came into the mayor's office, she was in a little cubicle upstairs. And I said, what are you doing up here? You got so much talent. And we had an administrator. And I said, geez, I'm not supposed to say names, but everybody knows who she is. She stepped in and she helped out. And then she became the mayor. And she did an excellent job. 20 years ago, I had the opportunity, and I would like another opportunity, to show you that we can go somewhere with Chewelah. What would I change about Chewelah? Man, I've seen some good people move in the area. They're awesome. That's the best asset we have, is our community. Our city is growing. Our school districts are down. Law enforcement, we've got some things that need to be worked on. Someone asked me the other day if I knew about what my budget was 20 years ago. I said, I don't know what mine was 20 years ago. I said, but I do know what it's like to work within a budget. And I hope that I have a good enough council and a city administrator that we can all find out what to give. And the mayor is in the city. Oh yeah, hold on. Let me get my thoughts real quick here. Government is to provide services. The business district and the homeowners provide the revenue. If you can't live within the budget, don't be there. Vote for me, and I look forward to meeting with more of you down the road. Thank you for your time and opportunity.
All right, the next position is council number 1, and we'll start with Silas Rapp.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to come up here and introduce myself, kind of tell you why I am the best candidate for this position. Really, the strongest part of why I feel like I'm the best candidate for the position is one, my experience. I've been on various boards, organizations. The work that I do, I'm the district planner for Tri-County Economic Development District in Colville. And so I work with communities across this region in economic diversification, trying to figure out how we can grow as a region. And so I bring that regional knowledge into this. This place has become my home. We moved up here in 2017, and right off the bat I knew there was something special about this place. The strongest asset that we have is this community. I mean, seeing all your faces out here tonight is fantastic. Being able to work with Dorothy and getting to know everybody has been an amazing opportunity that I've been able to gather through my employment. The other aspect, though, is my heart. Before we moved up here, I did youth ministry in Moab, Utah, and it was all about raising up that next generation to take charge and be the change that we want to see. And so I bring that to the table up here. I've got 3 small kids, 9, 6, and 4, and this is their home. I want them to think that when they're my age. I'm no longer, I grew up in a community, it was a small community. I loved it. I wanted to move back there. It was one of those, you hear a lot of times in rural communities that the youth move away and they just want to get away and there's nothing for them, they don't want to come back. That wasn't my case, but when I came back, there wasn't anything for me. And so that's something that I keep in my mind and everything that I do in this community is I want to provide and build a legacy that my kids can be proud of, because they're going to reap the benefits of the work that we do today. And so that is why I'm here. That is why I feel like I'm the strongest candidate for this position. In regards to the things that are going on that are great, I mean, like I said, the community. This community is amazing. Working at Tri-County Economic Development District, I was able to tout that every day. You know, we work across Ferry, Ponderay, and Stevens counties, and I can't tell you how many times I was always like, well, just watch Tooele. There's so much going on. There's so much momentum. There's so much potential. I mean, everything that Dorothy has been pushing forward through since I've known her, it's just been amazing to see. And so, I mean, I think that's our strongest asset, and I'd love to see us continue with that. Candidate McCudden talked about a few of the things that I've been involved with and that I see as strengths for this area, but that's the Chewela Valley Land Trust, CARBAY, which is the Chewela Area Recreation Planning Effort. I was also brought on to be part of the Chewela Vision Group as we worked through that comprehensive plan development. And so those are strengths that we have now that have built this foundation, and it's how we move forward, utilizing those plans that we put into place to see our area grow and flourish. You know, I know change is a scary word, but change is inevitable. And the way that I look at it is it's how we can get ahead of it and how we can plan and prepare for that change. You know, we are the ones that will be able to make this place what it could be 10, 20, 30 years from now. And it's what we do, again, today. And so I would love to be part of that. There is, you know, the stuff that's going on in our downtown is amazing. We have so much potential down there to see more growth, more partnerships, and I'm kind of going into some of the things I like to see, the changes. Again, like I said, I don't want to change a lot, I just want to help us move forward. And so we've got such an amazing amount of natural resources around us. The recreational opportunities are extensive, but we need to do some development with that. We need to be able to get ahead of that and plan and work with that, you know, working with 49 Degrees and setting up some partnerships there. Working on our downtown, making it an inviting place and a walkable place where people can, as they come up to the Caldwell National Forest, they can stop in Chewela, they can eat at one of our local eateries, they can go into some of our local boutiques, and then they can either stay here or they can go on up, but then they're going to come back through. But we are kind of the gateway to the Caldwell National Forest. We're the gateway to Stevens County, and we need to stand up and be that. And so I look forward to jumping in as City Council and helping kind of steer that momentum, and I'm just thankful for being here.
All right, the next candidate for council position number 1 is Tracy Ling.
I come from Pasco, Washington, and have lived in Washington most of the time of my life. They can't hear me? Can you hear me now? Yeah. Okay. So I lived in I'm from Pasco, grew up there. It was small, not as small as Chewela, but it was small when I was growing up, so I understand that. And moved, you know, as I grew, and went to Western Washington University, graduated in Bellingham, and it was small back then as well. And then I moved to Manhattan for 3 years. And that was back in the day when Trump was buying up all the streets in this rundown district. And what I saw was people being displaced, people that had been there for generation after generation who were being displaced by money. And there wasn't really much planning. And anyway, I fear for that in this community because there are people who are coming, and I want there to be planning, and I want to be part of that. I come from a background of health and wellness. I've been a body worker for 30 years, so I usually am with one-on-one, not a big community group. But I have, and when I came back from New York, I was only there a couple of years. But what I saw changed me forever. I came back an entrepreneur. I came back, you know, knowing I could do this because no one in Washington had seen this before. And so I was like, thought a lot of myself at that time because of it. But it was all very heart-centered for me, because what I also saw was, the community being thrown out of their own parks. They couldn't afford it. They couldn't be there anymore, so they left. And I don't know where they went. I really don't know. But okay, so back up. Anyway, so being a body worker and living in Bellingham, I lived there for a long time. I decided to buy a fourplex there because I needed other means for my security as I grew older, and then that's what I saw in Bellingham. Bellingham was coming apart at the seams. The people started coming in, and the money comes in, and then the poor, they have to deal with that, and it becomes, the price of the housing becomes so astronomically so high that they can't even live there anymore. And I don't want to see that happen here. I know that it's coming. I know that it's here. And I'm not saying that free enterprise is the wrong thing. It is fine, but we have to prepare. We have to plan. It is going to happen. It is happening. And I want to be part of that. I care about the community. My heart is in the right place. And my brain, my mind, when it's in sync, it's great. I want to be there for you. I want to think about that. Aesthetically, I've helped with the planning in Bellingham. They've done big apartment buildings right next to my fourplex. So I know going to city council meetings, I've been to those meetings, and what the public says, what the community has to say about it, and the aesthetics of that. Because when there's a lot of growth quickly, the aesthetics lose. It can lose. So because Chewelah is so beautiful, as you know, and why we're here, is why I'm here. I got here in 2008, and it's home. And I want to be part of that and be more part of that. Anyway, yeah. Let's see. Now, what was the second question? Like, why I love it here? I love it here because of the community. I love it here because of everything, all the art guild, the things that they're put on, the things that people do here, that rise up, the different people. My neighbors are great, and so I love it. It's like heaven on earth here, and I would like to keep that vibe here as well. Heaven on earth for everyone, not just the few, for everyone. And what I'd like to change, well, I've been listening to some people, elders in the community, asking them what they think, and they want to be part of teens. That's what's interesting. They want to be part of some activities for teens because they've been somewhat separated because of COVID, because of the technology anymore. They're online with each other instead of with each other. So I was thinking some kind of center for teens, for activities, and also for the elders to be part of it. And I am a Native American, so the tribe is what I see as powerful, and this could be that. And it is that, but it could be more that. I just want to be part of that. All right, thank you.
All right, next up for council position number 2 is Sean Peterson. Sean's not here. So let's do Aaron Alvarado. All right, first, everybody can hear me? All right. My name is Aaron Alvarado. I've been part of Chewelah, lived here for about 11 years. I've been part of the fire department, Chewelah Fire Department, for 9 years. I've been part of Stevens County Fire for 4 years, and I've been a first responder driver for Chewelah Rural Ambulance for 5 years. I currently work at the golf course. I've been there for 10 years. The great thing about Chewelah is the community. Everybody, that whoever's in need, the community comes together and takes care of each other. And that's amazing to me. And I mean, we know what the priorities are in Chewelah. We know about the roads, we know about the water, we know about everything else, but there's
there's other things too. Number one is kids. There's potential for things, the kids need stuff to do. You know, besides, I mean, Ashley came up with the sports, and that's amazing. I just need more. It can be little things like, you know, improve the skate park. You know, there's a lot of people, a lot of kids that go there and ride, and it's, I mean, you've seen it, but it needs an upgrade. The other thing is, you know, we have an amazing airport, we have amazing golf course, we have amazing ski hill. We brought in DNR moved from Caldwell to here, and response time, they have 3 helicopters, I believe. And the amazing response time with fires is awesome. I also like to bring Lifeline in here. Currently they're in Spokane and I believe in Sandpoint. And the response time is from 25 minutes to 45 minutes, almost an hour to get to Northport. If we had them here, the response time would be 10 minutes, 5 minutes to 30 minutes. I do know a lot of people. I know a lot of people in here, mostly from the golf course. But I want to know everybody. I just don't want to know the golf course. I don't want to know, you know, certain people. There's so much potential in this place, from downtown. The amazing thing about the creative arts program, all these beautiful art pieces going all over the place, from the signs on the posts. There's so much good things about Chewelah, and it's about the community first, and then the kids. Another thing is I have heavy on my heart is mental illness. You know, there's a lot of people that struggle with that, and in working possibly with Stevens County, or even the state, just bring in mental illness, help those people in need, even in the city. And just, yeah. My email is open to anybody. If you want to come up to me, I'll talk about anything. I did this because I wanted to see a change in Chewelah that's already great enough, but there's more potential. From the fire department, from updating the equipment. Safety's first for us. It's always fire safety first, and updating equipment. From the police department, our wonderful police department, in upgrading their equipment, and just, so yeah. So if you have any questions, talk to me out here. Thank you very much.
All right, next is council position number 3, Peyton Norvell.
Well, I'll keep this short as I'm running unopposed this year, but I've been your councilman for almost 2 terms now. I love it here. I'm going to continue to live here, and so I have a very vested interest in keeping the city great. We've gotten to work with Mike, Dorothy, council members like John May, Sharon, gotten to see all kinds of different points of view on everything. So I feel like I'm got a pretty good head on my shoulders for this type of thing. I lie awake at night thinking about city issues a lot. It's stupid, but it's something that happens to me on a regular basis. We've got great employees here, great fire, great police. You guys have all heard all the great things we have here. As far as changing, I don't know if I want to change anything. We just need to keep improving the things that we're working on improving. Housing. We need to keep improving our infrastructure, keep working on our water system, roads, making sure we get our grants for our roads every year, grants for our airports. I'd love to see an energy buyback program for people who move here. We'd love to do solar panels or wind on the property. We don't have that now, something like Vista has. And keep moving towards our goals in our long-term comprehensive plan, putting it in those little parks, putting in those little niceties, improving the parking downtown. It's slow, it's painful, but eventually we'll get there. So, thank you.
All right, next up for council position number 4 is Jolene McGee.
Okay, like Peyton, I am running unopposed. I'm on the council already, but I could have passed up the opportunity to get up here, let you guys put a face to a name, and also let me see all of your faces too. The reason why I decided to be a candidate back in August when a vacant position came up and I applied for it and got selected for it was because I have been participating, since I've lived here the last 6 years, I've participated where I could in different council meetings, attended when I could, different focus groups and gave input, and I always wanted to be something rather than just on the sidelines, but actually be part of that conversation and those decisions and helping to make our communities better wherever, and all of these ideas that you have that you need to make changes for, to be able to implement those. So I also felt like I had a good skill set to bring to the table. I do telecommute for a large corporation, and I do financial analysis and process improvements for that corporation. And for our facilities, investing in infrastructure and utilities and all the kind of capital assets that we have in our facilities around the country. So that has been easily translated into a lot of what we do here in the city. I'm on the airport committee. It's been a joy working with Tyrone and everybody in the airport to try to get that going. And a lot of people, you might not think about it, but when you look at it from a finance perspective, if you want to have the better roads, you want to have the parks, you want to have more amenities and a better town to live in, we have to somehow bring income in. Because otherwise, we just have to raise taxes on all of you, and we don't like that, right? So, so some of the stuff that we're doing may seem like that is catering to a certain group, but in the long term, there's going to be a benefit, there's going to be a payoff, and it's going to help all of us. I also am on the code committee, so I chair that committee as well. And one thing we've been trying to do, and I hope that we'll do even more so, is really take a look at our codes and look at old codes that are on the books. We had some come up where people challenged them and said, why is that written like that? And we welcome that feedback. We want to hear from you all. If you run into some kind of code or some kind of process in our city that is bothersome to you, let us know. So on the council, so we can bring that forward and make a change for you. And because it's the council members that are going to make that happen and vote on them and make those decisions. And then we leave it to the mayor, and now we're going to have a new administrator to go out and implement those. So that's what I'm looking forward to as well, is we're going to be getting a new city administrator, and looking forward to that person really running a lot of the operations of the city, so then the mayor is relieved to be able to do more mayoral tasks that Dorothy did wonderfully, but she worked way too much, I think. And so I'm looking forward to having that and interacting with our new mayor, whoever that should be, to be able to look at changes we can make even within our processes in our cities. Because I believe that some of our processes in the cities are a little antiquated, because I do work for a large corporation. I can see how we can automate things like billings and payments and different tracking of our utilities and all that kind of stuff. There may be ways to do that, but I definitely see some business processes we might want to take a look at over the future with the new mayor and see what kind of changes and improvements we can do there. So I just wanted to introduce myself, let you see who I am. If you see me around town, we're usually walking the dogs or something, please say hi to me, please stop me and let me know what's going on. And I also do some volunteer work at the museum. So you might find me there sometimes when we're open, but I also welcome your feedback at any point in time. Thank you.
All right, the next position is council at large, and the first candidate is Christy Smith.
council at-large position. Like many of you, I am passionate about our community and its residents. I am invested in our community and its well-being. I have experience with professional leadership and community capacity building. I have expert knowledge in facilitating multidisciplinary teams and that collaboratively work together around a variety of issues. I have a considerable amount of knowledge around assessing community gaps or issues and resolving those issues. I also have experience with federal, state, and local grants and management of those grants. I also co-coordinate and help facilitate our youth basketball and t-ball programs with Ashley. I will bring compassionate, hardworking, and logical skills to the City Council. If elected, my objectives will be improving current and new professional relationships with the City Council, establishing a trajectory of economic development for the city, and providing capacity for community recreation possibilities. My experience combined with my passion for the community makes me the ideal candidate for Chewelah City Council. I will fill this position with enthusiasm, professional skills, and knowledge in order to serve this community wholeheartedly. We live in an amazing community. From the residents to our city government, we live in a place that many love to call home for many generations. There are many things going well for the city of Chewelah. The recent improvements to the city park, the airport, the city streets, these are concrete examples of how our community is doing well. Additionally, our artistic culture, employment opportunities, and a safe community are conceptual examples that our city is doing well. So again, if elected, my objectives will be improving current and new professional relationships with the City Council, establishing a trajectory of economic development for the city, and providing capacity for community recreation possibilities. So if elected, I will see you as an individual and as a human being, and I will listen to you. Again, my name is Christy Smith, and I would appreciate your vote in November for Chewelah City Council. Thank you.
All right, the next candidate for council at large is John Kaboski.
Hello, thanks for having me up here. My name is John Kaboski, and probably from the last name you can figure I'm not from these parts. I moved here in 2015 as a medical professional, a nurse practitioner. I joined the government group here in town. Prior to that, I had worked for the National Service Corps. We serve underserved communities. I worked in a farming community in Missouri. I really liked the farming community, the sense of community, the friendliness, but I longed for the mountains. Then I worked in Espanola, New Mexico, which was northern New Mexico, kind of in the mountains, a very interesting community. And I ended up in Durango, Colorado, which is a resort community. I give you this background because I've worked in different communities around the country and seen what's going on. And Durango was a resort community that had problems. And I'd like for us to avoid some of those problems. I saw those problems from the health line, but also as a citizen. They had rampant homelessness, but they had great outdoors. Things like that. And I'm hoping that we can, City Council can avoid that. What I like about City Council so far, what they've done, I moved here, I started to get involved in government. My spouse said, why don't you quit complaining and do something? So I started going to City Council meetings. And I really enjoyed that because that's grassroots government there. And they actually listen to you and they respect you and things like that. And I started really realizing what government was. And this is like a great place for government, the grassroots. So, as things went on, it's easy to go to the negative side of what hasn't been done, but things have changed a lot in the last 5 years since I've been here. When I came here, there was one internet provider. If you already didn't have service, you couldn't get that. Dorothy and the City Council and the city, we have other providers now. You don't have trouble getting internet in the city if you move here or anything like that. They've done a great job like that. My background also is business. I was in the mortgage business prior to becoming a nurse practitioner when I was in my early 20s. So I have a business background and a medical background. I think a medical background is semi-important right now with COVID and all that. representation on council to help interpret data and things like that. I think one of the great things about our city council now is the diversity. And things, because, you know, sometimes city council, typical examples, they're one of the city plan one day, and they start mentioning the word wetlands. Wetlands. Luckily, we had an engineer, Nicole, on city council who could understand those terms, digress that, read about it, interpret and understand it. And I think the city council needs to be well balanced. Working in medicine, the biggest thing I can do is listen. You have to listen to people. You have to come up with a plan that everybody agrees on. It may not be the plan you want, it may not be the plan I want, or I think is right, but it's what the patient wants. My patient is the people of Chewelah. What they want. You know, what's best for what tends to be best for everybody. Other things are, you know, the city's done a great job with the airport, the fueling station, development of those. Those are big ticket items, and they worked really hard, and they made sure the money worked with those. And I think that's the key thing is you have to balance the budget. If you're going to spend it over here, you got to see what the long-term, you know, what the gain's going to be and whether it's a wise decision. They made some very wise decisions, and they've worked very hard on that. Some people might think that city council is just, you go to the meeting every couple times a month, you sit there for 2 hours, you listen, you raise your hand, you vote. There's a lot of work behind that. I see there's a lot of reading, there's a lot of research, there's a lot of documents people need to go through. I think the people on city council do a lot of work behind the scenes to work together. So I really think going forward that, you know, the city has great potential. We are at the crossroads. We are moving towards with 49 increasing, kind of resort communities type thing. We have some fairly stable business here, logging, farming, things like that, as maintained the balance. You know, I saw Durango where when we moved there, it was too expensive to stay there. You couldn't buy a house for $500,000. So the locals that grew up there, lived there, were priced out of their own community. And I think that needs to be part of the thing we need to keep track of is how to, if you grew up here, you lived here, you got educated here, you can live here and stay here and raise a family and reap the benefits of being a nice middle class citizen. And a city council, I promise I will listen. And I will listen and respond and make sure that we try balance for everybody. That every group is represented properly and we get everybody's their piece of the pie. And we don't get skewed too far in one direction or the other. We stay true. And like Peyton said, the city council has done a great job and they have a great plan in place. And it's about keeping that plan, moving that ball down the field. Let's keep moving it forward and go with what we have. Things take time. Thank you very much for your time.
All right, next up are the candidates for the Chewelah School District position number 1, and we'll start with Charles Burns.
Hey, thanks a lot for coming here. I want to thank, first of all, my wife, Laura. She's at risk now of being canceled by this culture that we have out there. If you're politically incorrect, look out, they're gonna get you. So thank you, Laura. And I'd also like to thank our first responders, the police and fire, for all the hard work they do for the community. And last, I'd like to thank all of you for caring enough about the community to come on down here and be a part of what's happening. I think it's important that next election, each and every one of you, whether you're 9 or 19 or 90, go apply for a position. You know, we need as much, you know, new blood and different ideas as possible. Getting on to the 3 questions, I'm going to try to keep it short because I had about 15 minutes worth of speech I wanted to do. But the first question, why am I the best candidate? I can't say that I am the best candidate. For all I know, after I hear my competitors talk, I may vote for one of them. One of my attributes, though, is my honesty, and also I do care for what's being taught to our children. I was going to end with, you know, the quote, people don't care how much you know, they want to know how much you care. And so I do care for the children and what's being taught to them. Getting on to the second question, what do I like best about Chewelah? I'd have to say, besides the community, which is awesome, I love Quartzsite Mountain. That is a cornerstone. That is a landmark of this town. And I think that we need to incorporate that in our tourists or with our mayors and city council to kind of promote that. I see a storm coming. I think people are going to, whether it's an economic crisis or what, are going to come out this way from the cities. That's why I got out of the city. I'll get into that later. But, it's a landmark. It's a cornerstone. It's an anchor where you can, grow a family. And what do let's see, the third question, what do I would like to see change? Well, since I worked for the post office, I was here for a year in Chewelah, now I'm working in Colville, but I would love to see a bigger post office. It's a safety hazard during Christmas. There's nowhere to walk or move, so getting on to my main point here. So my name's Charlie Burns. Remember that name? Burn it into your memory, Charlie Burns. I'm running for school board district number 1. It's a nonpartisan position, and I'd like to stop right there and talk about that. Merriam-Webster defines nonpartisan as free from party affiliation, bias, or designation. If that's true, then, when I first saw that, I couldn't believe it. Washington State passed a law that all voters had to specify whether they leaned Democrat or Republican. I never liked that change, and I'll bet 90% of people who were elected to school board did lean one way or the other, which would make them partisan. And so, okay, so if nonpartisan is the qualification, then I guess I'm your guy, because ever since 1980, when I first was eligible to vote, I've never voted for a Republican or Democrat president of the United States until 2016, when both Republicans and Democrats couldn't stand Trump. So that was the first time I voted Republican in my life for president. Let's see, 36 years of nonpartisan voting. So basically, if you say you're non-biased or have no opinion or are nonpartisan, you're basically not being honest with yourself. You're a liar. For decades, conservatives have, for the most part, been apathetic or indifferent to who runs our school board, or for that matter, state legislatures on up to president. Because of this don't know, don't care attitude, we've allowed what I believe is the minority liberal-minded candidates to take over not only our school board, but our country. It's way past time that we take it back. I just turned 59 this past June 30th, was born and raised in Seattle. Don't worry, I didn't bring the West Side's liberal politics with me. So, I have 2 adult children still living in Spokane, and it has always been a dream of mine to live in the country. I was able to live in the country. I was able to make my dream come true when I moved here to Chewelah in 2019. Oh, my time's up, I'm sorry, but CRT, critical race theory, is not a good thing. I'm fighting that, as well as this sex education. It's crazy, it's not right. So I wish I had more time to talk to you.
All right, the next candidate for school district position number 1 is Judy Bean.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me okay? Okay, thank you. I am choosing to go forward with a commitment to the kids in our community as a candidate for school board. I am currently on the school board and have been for about 3.5 years. What brings me to that is because I care greatly about kids, and I know the impact that a good education has not only on children and their families, but a community and our nation. I've spent most of my career in education as a classroom teacher, a school principal, a district administrator, a university professor, and a trainer and consultant in some different states and provinces. And what I have seen across our country is that local communities are very impactful in how they care for their children. And so some good things that are happening in this school district right now is we have a new superintendent, and I'm going to point out Mr. Pierce right there. Would you wave, Jason? Thank you very much. And the school board is very excited to have Jason here working with us, because we are focusing on the #1 goal of schools, which is student achievement, pure and simple. And we know along with that, it is a caring environment. The school board asked the community for some input earlier this winter as we were selecting a superintendent about what was most important to them. And of course they said student achievement, good, high-quality teaching and learning, and a place where kids could belong and feel safe. And so all of those considerations were taken into consideration as we selected Jason as our superintendent and as we move forward with planning. Some of the excellent things that are happening is planning, facilities planning, planning for improved student achievement, and also better communication with all of our constituents. Those are some of the goals that the school board set in their retreat last week. And we will, continue to work and listen to our students and our staff and provide high-quality professional learning. There's a saying that says, if the adults don't know, the kids don't either. So we are investing greatly in professional learning that we can achieve the highest quality teaching and learning. Many of our kids will come back to this community and we welcome them, but many of them will go to other places in the world. And we must ensure that our kids are prepared for that world, whether it's here, whether it's in Dallas, Texas, or whether it is overseas, because that is what kids are facing today. They are in competition and collaboration with people from across the world. So I thank you very much. Again, our focus is on student achievement and caring for those kids. Along with that, we will be doing some work on facilities, and there is a facilities committee, and we will be doing long-range planning, which means like 10 and 20 years. We've had good stewards of our buildings in this community, but we also must look forward to the future. So I thank you all very much for caring about our kids. Thank you.
So the final candidate for school district position #1 is Bill Lacey.
Mike, closer.
Pardon?
Mike, closer. There you go.
Sorry. I think some of the most important things I have is my life experience. I've been a farmer for 21 years, and I worked at Boeing for 25 years. And I was a project manager there, and I helped teach and how all the people there on computer systems, and I spent a lot of time doing that. My education, I've had a great deal of that. And I like to work with other people trying to get things done. I'm extremely passionate about kids receiving a good education, and I think we've got a good start for that. But I really believe that parents' involvement is one of the most important things in a school, and we have to work harder, I believe, at getting there. And if we can do that, we will make it, because in these times, this is where the rubber meets the road. And if we don't pay attention to what's going on, I don't want to talk about the rest of it right here. What have schools done well in Chewelah? Well, I think they've done a great job on the safety of the kids. I think that the kids are good and safe, and
not, how should I put this? There aren't any fear of learning or fear of people coming into the schools and disrupting it, which I think is great. And I think the teachers are exceptional in our schools. I think they do a good job. I just think they need to be able to teach and do what they need to do. I think they need to focus on the facts and teach facts. I don't believe in teaching theory, and I don't believe in teaching philosophies and turn them into facts. And I think we need to do a better job with that. The second part is I think our sports programs are very good in Chewelah, and that's something that we can continue to improve on. What can we do better in Chewelah? Again, I think the communication is critical. I think we should have a PTA again. You know, when I was a kid, we had PTAs, and the schools would put on PTAs, and the parents would come and they'd learn about the philosophies and disciplines and what's going on. The teachers would help explain what's going on and how they're teaching and some of their problems they're having. And the parents could learn about what it would take to make their kids do better in school. And we don't have that anymore. I believe we also need volunteers in the school. And as you know, that Finland has the #1 school district or school system in the world. And the reason they have that is because they have 3 to 4 people or volunteers in the school help teaching the kids, especially those who are falling behind or those need special extra little help to catch up and keep going. And they actually work with the teachers. The teacher will basically organize it and make sure that it goes smoothly, and their kids are extremely well educated and they do really well. And that's one of the primary reasons that is done, and I would love to see that. And Chewelah is the perfect community to do that, because there's a lot of people here that probably have the time. They could spend 1 or 2 hours a week coming in and helping the kids, and I think that's what we need to do. And so the last thing is that, I think we should teach kids to be proud Americans. And I think that they need to be proud of themselves. And we need to emphasize that and make our history classes reflect that, make our civics classes reflect that, and we need to move forward on that philosophy. Thank you for listening.
All right, the final position that we'll be talking about tonight is Chewelah School District, position number 2, and the first candidate is Steve Phillips.
I have to apologize to the assembly here tonight because I did not receive a set of questions. I didn't know anything about them, and therefore I did not prepare any answers for those questions. But I did write a 5-minute speech to fit into my 5-minute slot, and I'm going to go ahead and skip that. Again, my name is Steve Phillips, and I'm running for Chewelah School Board in District 2. In the post-war years, the hardworking people of this country put their trust in academia to nurture and educate their children and prepare them for the challenges of adulthood and citizenship. And yet, look where we are now 70 years later. A disturbingly high percentage of graduates believe that meritocracy, religion, capitalism, borders, and police departments are systems of oppression. That same demographic believes that conservatives should be shamed, fired, kicked off of social media, chased off of campus, and prevented from speaking. They believe the greatest threat to this country, after climate change and the Trump family, is white supremacy. They believe that white people are inherently racist and that they perpetuate institutionalized power imbalances that keep people of color marginalized and impoverished. They believe that gender is a social construct detached from biology. They believe the First Amendment is problematic because it enables hurtful speech
and the Second Amendment should be repealed. People like those I've described are now running most of our institutions. They control most of our corporations. You can see them every night on cable news whining about white rage and MAGA insurrectionists. The ones among them who became activist politicians are currently trying to nationalize our elections in a way that will favor their own party. These people I've described have one thing in common. They were educated by progressives in our public schools. Am I saying that every graduate becomes a member of Antifa? No, of course not. But you can draw a direct line from a student receiving a left progressive education to a CEO 30 years later who is forcing his employees to admit their white privilege or pressuring his corporate board to divest Israel and ban travel to Georgia. No coincidences here, folks. The governor of Washington has recently signed legislation that will lead to the implementation of so-called anti-racist training at nearly every grade level and even in medical school. On the surface, it sounds good to be anti-racist, but the state faces a massive problem. Much of the training being designed around these mandates is nakedly discriminatory and violates the Washington Civil Rights Act. So, if you have activist trainers conduct a session where people are divided up into racial groups, you are in violation of that act. If you compel the speech of a person to admit they are privileged and toxic because of their race, you are in violation. If you give a kid a book that suggests to him that he is part of an oppressor class or part of an oppressed class, that's a violation. These examples are real and are happening, mostly in Seattle area schools right now, but this stuff is coming here because the state wants it to come here. But we need to be educating our students, not indoctrinating them. We need to be preparing them for the challenges of the real world, not creating armies of people who care more about class and racial identity than brotherhood and family. I am running to be a reliable vote for sanity on the school board. I believe our school board and all the school boards in Washington need to push back forcibly against this mindless agenda. I promise to be open, transparent, and to do all I can to keep you informed. In my remarks tonight, I've described only one of the battles ahead. I need your help, and the people of Washington need your help. Please take advantage of my sign-up sheet to get involved with my campaign. I am respectfully asking for your vote. Thank you.
All right, the next candidate, Camille Mura, isn't here tonight because of some COVID concerns, but she had answered the questions and they're back on the long table. So if you want to pick up her answers to those questions, you can read those answers. And the final candidate of the night would be Kyra Ralstad, but she's out of town for her daughter's wedding. So Tio Bakken is going to speak for her.
Thank you very much for sitting through this. I'm very excited that everyone's here and that you are, concerned and interested in what's happening in our community. As Barry said, Kyra's daughter is getting married this week. She's in Seattle, but she asked me to come and read this statement for her. So yes, obviously I'm not Kyra. She's got some flyers in the back, but I would like to let you know that her background is filled with education experience. She taught for 43 years before she retired as a teacher in the Chewela District. She graduated from Indiana University, got a master's from Eastern, and has education experience that spans 3 states, Colorado, Idaho, Washington. She taught for 29 years in our city and was the first to offer the college in the classroom courses in Chewela. She's devoted her life to quality education. Now, some of these answers are not going to be, divvied up into the 3 questions, but all the information is here, I promise. Okay. So Kyra says that it would be a tremendous honor to be reelected to the Chewela School Board in order to complete the many positive things that the school board has started. She's finishing a 2-year term for District 2, and she would like to continue to serve. She writes that our present board is a wonderful group of hardworking individuals that is putting student learning first. We put tremendous effort into selecting an outstanding superintendent for Chewelah, Jason Parents, who's here tonight. We just completed a 2-day workshop setting goals for your children's futures, and I am pleased with our progress. Now, to be an effective board member, one must participate in professional development and commit time and energy, and that's necessary to being an informed and effective leader. We must also understand our school's vision, goals, policies, its current successes, challenges, and opportunities that are unique to Chewelah. Kyra feels that she's highly qualified to represent our community to build the very best schools. As the board's legislative liaison, she attends conferences in Olympia and has spent hours in Zoom meetings communicating the needs of rural schools, which, as you know, are different than the schools in the big cities in some very important ways. She's worked to extend her knowledge and understanding in communicating with our legislatures to bring the very best resources to Chewelah. The board is working towards building trust, improving communication and transparency for our constituents. Kyra understands her role in guiding Chewelah towards a brilliant future, and she's able to commit both the time and the energy to this position. And she brings valuable experience after 29 years of teaching mathematics to help structure our schools after the pandemic. She also writes that after this year that included remote learning, hybrid learning, and then a return to the classroom, our district needs to commit all of our resources to student learning. We must support our administrators, teachers, and staff to return this fall to a culture that supports its students. She thinks that bringing back the programs that our community values is vital. So music, drama, the arts, as well as a strong VOTEC department. She wants to see an expansion of the college and the classroom offerings and academic programs to ensure our children have the skills they need to succeed. Our young students must be strong in reading, writing, and critical thinking, and we must improve our culture to ensure all students feel welcome and ready to begin the 2021-2022 school year. So, Kyra asks for your vote. She brings experience, common sense, and a willingness to work hard to achieve excellent schools. She's honest, approachable, and she has a deep love for this community. Thank you.
All right, we'd like to thank all of you for coming out tonight, and if we can give everyone up here another round of applause. Thank you guys very much for getting involved and helping make our community a better place.